Hi everyone! Today I'm back with my Losi Mini T 2.0. The last time you guys saw this in its own video, it was completely stock. I did also upload a completely bone stock running video of it, and today I wanted to talk about some of the tuning I've done and changes that I've made to my Losi Mini T 2.0. So I did manage to drive this truck on the track in completely stock form. So let's see how it did on the track completely stock. Some notes to make of that footage. I was driving it with one hand and then one hand on the camera, and it was my first time really doing that with the Mini T, so that really didn't help. But regardless, let's see how it did. So as you saw, the truck struggled a little bit. The main issues I had with it were mostly like response, like throttle response and steering response related. I think everything was a little bit too sensitive, and the controller, the stock controller, while there is a lot of different settings on it, I couldn't get it tuned exactly the way I wanted. So I wanted to change out the controller. Also, the truck is kind of high center of gravity despite having an aluminum chassis. So I wanted to address that as well. But finally, moving into what I've done to my Mini T 2.0 is, well, the most obvious thing you can see is the body is different. This is the J Concepts finisher body, and I've painted it in my like transgender flag paint scheme. And if you guys have seen my recent channel update video, you guys would have seen this body. I'm really happy with how the body turned out. I think it looks very nice. I went out and bought the really expensive Tamiya masking tape, the really skinny kind, to do the stripes on this, and I think it turned out very well, so I'm very happy with the body. The rear says ECX on it. Obviously it's a Losi, but I thought it'd be funny to have ECX on the back, just because a lot of the ECX stuff are kind of hand-me-down Losi stuff, and also kind of also like a tribute to my other two-wheel drive stadium truck, which is a ECX circuit. For some other modifications I've done, I switched out the front bumper for the T-Bone Racing front bumper. This is the narrow version. They also have a much larger like Basher version. I think that one's really ugly, so I went for this more narrow version. I think it looks much better, and also does two things for me. It obviously adds protection to the front, but it also adds some weight to the front, because this truck notoriously likes to wheelie. So I wanted to add some more weight up front to keep those front tires down and steering. And speaking of front weight, I switched out the front bulkhead, the suspension mounts, for the Hot Racing brass suspension mounts. So that will also upgrade the durability, as well as the add weight to the front. And then the suspension arms themselves are the RPM Racing suspension arms, which again will add durability, and also there's thicker plastic, so also are a little bit heavier as well. So I added a bunch of front weight to keep those front tires down. The tires, speaking of them, are the stock tires. I didn't change them. The tires that come on the brushless edition of the Mini T are actually already really soft, and I already really like them. So I don't really see myself upgrading the tires. when it comes time to replace them, because these are getting a little bit bald, I think I will just go for the stock tires again. Another change I made was, once I take the body clips off, I can just throw them up here, because I added a magnet there, so I won't lose my body clips. Taking the body off, you can see it looks a little bit different. The most obvious thing you can see are the shocks are different. The shock bodies themselves are the stock plastic body shocks, but I did swap out the springs. I got the optional spring set, front and rear, from Losi. The front has the softest springs available on it with maximum preload, and then the rear has the medium springs, I believe. And the rebound rate, I think, works out pretty well. I think I could go with medium springs maybe in the front as well, but overall, I'm fairly happy with the performance. I think the damping could be a little bit better, and I actually want to upgrade the shock bodies themselves for the optional aluminum shock bodies. Not particularly because they'll improve performance anyway, but I think it just looks cooler, so I might do that in the future. But for now, these shocks I think will do just fine. The motor and ESC are still the stock ones. I really didn't have any issue with the motor and ESC. It has enough power. It has more than enough power, so perfectly happy with it. It doesn't overheat or anything, so perfectly happy with it. I just wanted to be able to tune out the throttle input and just like the overall control input out of the system. So to do that, I swapped out the receiver. This is the receiver for my Spectrum DX4S transmitter, this one. And the settings I have on it, so steering travel I have at 70%, throttle forward I have at only 75%, because full throttle just, I'll show you what full throttle does. So yeah, 100% throttle response, it's way too much, so I switched it out for 75%. Exponential steering, 25%. Throttle, 60 and 55%. And with those changes, I think I got it to perform a little bit better and help me control the truck overall on the track much easier. So very happy with this setup. The receiver is also, you can see, a naked receiver. This is, I removed the case for the receiver, dipped the entire board of the receiver in Shugu, and I mounted it to the servo. So that reduces the weight of the receiver as well as place it lower down, and then also reduce the footprint of it so it actually fit down here. Because out of the box, the receiver is mounted on top of the battery tray cover, so that raises the center of gravity a lot, and part of the reason why it flips over so much. So that helped a lot with the center of gravity. And the other thing it helped with is the battery tray is a lot easier to use now. The cover comes all the way up, so it makes it much easier to install batteries. So happy with that. I put the switch on top of here, which is fine, it's not that heavy. And then I put a Tamiya sticker on here, on-off switch, to give it kind of more of a factory look. And then the wire management, I think, turned out really nice. The servo is still a stock servo, and I'm still even using the stock servo saver because that servo saver does a lot of work while I drive on the track, so I think I'm going to keep that on there. But overall, very happy with how this looks now. But let's drive it on the track and see if it drives as well as it looks. So again, apologize for my kind of bad driving, but you can see immediately that it drives much better than it did stock. So already very happy with the progress I'm making with this little truck. And for future upgrades, I might again replace the shocks or just maybe the oil to improve the damping. I could kind of mess around with different shock setups again, but other than the shocks, I'm overall very happy with this setup, and I love the way it looks, I love the way it drives. So very little I think I want to change on this, but if I end up making any other changes to it, you can guarantee you'll see a video about it from me. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was entertaining or informative, and I hope everybody has a great day and have fun with RC.